Majete Wildlife Reserve, the hidden gem of Malawi, once abundant with wildlife and then poached to nothingness. African Parks, an African conservation organization, undertook to restore Majete to its former self and recreate a complete ecosystem. One last mission lies ahead of them: capture 4 lions, bring them alive to Malawi, and help them to bond into a pride that will rule over this brand new world. Capturing a wild lion is about time and luck, 2 things challenging the African Parks team on the first day of the translocation operation. The 2 young males they selected in the Pilanesberg National Park are both out of darting reach.
The lion's a bit too far now to get a dart in. He needs to be sort of within 40 meters before we can dart him. So we're going to have to either wait for him to come closer, and I don't think there's an opportunity of going off-road here at all.
The capture team will have to return for the first lion and move on to the second male. This second lion is spotted on a hill and can only be darted via helicopter. As all the vehicles converge towards the second male, Dr. Anthony Hall-Martin, the architect of the Majete project, instructs the vet, Dr. Andre Ace, to seize the first opportunity he gets and hope for the best.
Stand by. Say again.
Can you see the lion?
Negative.
He's walking straight towards you.
The lion has been darted. The dart has fallen out. We're not quite sure whether he's been affected by the drugs yet, but he's quite close to the vehicles now, although we can't see him yet.
After a few minutes' observation, Andre decides to shoot a second dart. And this time, the dart sticks. This 3-year-old male, Chimwala, has been selected for his good health and strong genetics. After shielding Chimwala's open eyes from the sun, Andre puts a satellite collar on him.
He's fast asleep now. I hope so.
Chimwala is carried on board a truck that will take him to the Pilanesberg holding facility. After 10 years of planning and hard work, Majete's operation is finally reaching its climax.
This is a great day for Majete. We've almost reached our 10-year mark. We've restocked with all the other animals we need, from elephants to impala to warthogs. We've put in leopards, and at last we've reached the point where the apex predator, the lion, the top dog, is going to be taken back to Majete.
After capturing Chimwala, the team moves on to the second male, Sapitwa. He is darted from the car and recovered with much caution as the rest of his pride watches from less than 15 meters away. Three weeks later, the 2 males and another 2 females captured in a neighboring park are immobilized again and placed into 2 separate chartered planes. As the planes take off, Andre carefully works out the drug quantities. The lions will spend the next 5 hours under sedation in non-pressurized aircrafts, a risky procedure that has never been attempted before. The quantity of drugs pumped into the lions is critical. Too much could possibly be fatal. Not enough, they might wake up and attack the crew. 1 hour into the flight, and Chimwala, the stronger male, is waking up. The vet must act quickly and inject the right dose to put both lions and humans out of jeopardy. Sadly, on the plane carrying the 2 females, the worst has happened. One of the two lionesses has died of cardiac arrest about 4 hours into the anesthetic. 7 p.m. The 3 surviving lions have finally reached Majete Wildlife Reserve just before dark. Andre reverses the drugs and checks on their health before exiting the holding facility, where they will spend another 3 weeks in quarantine. Stretching over 700 square kilometers along the banks of the mighty Shiri River, the Majete Wildlife Reserve was African Park's first project. When it took over management in 2003, Majete was a depleted park with no large animals and no tourism. Despite its majestic setting and its extraordinary marula trees, Majete was empty of wildlife. "10 years down the line, and after the translocation of more than 2,500 animals, Majete's miraculous recovery makes it a conservation success story. 200 elephant, 300 buffalo, and about 1,500 antelope have been introduced into what is now the only Big Five reserve in Malawi. In 2011, a 5-star lodge run by Robin Pope Safaris opened its door for visitors eager to discover in style what Majete had to offer. Surrounded by 7,000 hectares of private concession, Mkurumadzi Lodge enjoys an idyllic location at the confluence of 2 rivers, shaded by giant leadwood trees.
We financed the operationals of the lions being translocated from South Africa into Majete. And we feel that it's important to bring lions into Majete to showcase Malawi and what it can be and can become. It pays off in huge ways when you drive out and you see elephants walking in a park that was completely depleted a couple of years ago. I mean, that's something that's really a wow.
"10 years after the beginning of Operation Majete, the big day has finally come. The release of the lions from the holding facility back into the wild.
Darting the animals in the holding facility can often be much more of a challenge than a wild darting, because the animals are confined, they're under stressful conditions. Any animal in confinement is stressed.
Make sure you close it behind us straight away. She's still up. Yeah. Because I've got her nose right at it.
As soon as all 3 lions are down, a team moves in to lift the animals into the vehicles that will take them to the release point. What the lions will do in the minutes following their wake-up will determine the success or the failure of the entire operation.
These lions originally came from different prides, So the preceding 7 weeks we had to force them to form a bond and a cohesive pride. So the biggest risk of today was the animals waking up and splitting off in different directions. We had everything in place to try and mitigate the risks. We had a carcass right where we woke the animals up in the hope that they would wake up and start feeding, which would anchor them in a certain position. And they did exactly what we hoped they would do.
The test is passed. The lions have stayed together, a relief for the whole team, and the realization of African Park's long-held vision to return the Big Five to Majete.
The lion is a tourism draw card. It is an apex predator that every tourist would want to see. So the coming of the lions and the fact that we are a Big Five park, it will be very, very attractive.
The day following the release, Chimwala, Sapitwa, and the female Shiri are still together. Shiri, named after the mighty river that crosses Majete, is already taking possession of her role as the pride hunter. The lions are back and ready to take over Majete, their new kingdom.